On this episode of the DCeric Show, I take you back to 1989 with Ninja Gaiden from the Nintendo Entertainment System. I got this game back in the early 90s, not realizing how this game would revolutionize other action-adventure games of that time. In the game, you use the character Ryu Hayabusa, and your main mission is to find the guy who has taken two of the most dangerous stones in the world. If these stones get into the wrong hands, it could mean the end of the world. Ninja Gaiden had unique cinematic scenes, which were kind of rare to see in any games of that era. The cinematic scenes made the game kind of special because it made you want to finish the game. I remember as a kid reading the story, listening to the sound of the music, and looking at the characters for each cinematic scene, and it felt like a thrilling experience to play this game. Well, Ninja Gaiden wasn't just known for its amazing cinematic scenes though, the game also was known for being rather difficult. But even though rather difficult, the game has been very popular to a wide gaming audience. The game takes a bit of action from other games like Castlevania, but made it feel unique, so it didn't feel like you were playing the same games. In the game you use a katana sword, but you'll also be able to use special weapons that come equipped after hitting heat lamps. You use the up button along with the action button to use the special weapons, which become useful for completing some levels. The levels in the game were brilliant and were made to look like actual places like the city, factory, and outdoor landscapes. Each level added more difficulty to the game, making you have to jump from one place to another, making sure you don't fall into a hole losing a life, or jumping into an enemy. The game had some very remarkable sounding music for most games of 1989 on the NES video game system. The sound effects was alright, like the way the sword slashed, but realistically I don't think it would sound like that. But what I thought was real funny, instead of hearing enemies die in agony, they just have an explode sound effect. There is 6 acts in the game. Don't think that this game is short though, cause through the 6 acts there is over 20 levels to complete. The Japanese version of the game goes by a different name, Ninja Gaiden, which means Legend of the Sword. The North American version goes by the name Ninja Gaiden, which Gaiden meant side story. Of course, the Ninja Gaiden series of games have no side story from any other series. In fact, the only reason why they called it Ninja Gaiden was because it sounded really cool. The PAL regions of the game got the name Shadow Warriors. The NES version carries the same name from the arcade version, but they are both different games. The arcade version had a different story and also played a bit differently than the NES series of games. The arcade version was supposed to play like Double Dragon, another game that has nothing to do with the Ninja Gaiden series. The NES version of the game has been ported to many other systems, including PC Engine, Super Nintendo, some mobile phones, and the Nintendo Wii Virtual Console. What's interesting is the ports of the Super Nintendo, which got the whole trilogy, which had 16-bit graphics and revamped sound. The PC Engine version of Ninja Gaiden also had updated graphics and also got revamped sound, being better than its NES versions of the game. But what made this version different is they slimmed down on the difficulty, making it easier for a wide gaming audience. But this was the only Ninja Gaiden game released for the PC Engine, being only available in Japan. It contained an unlocked English translation mode with a different translation than the NES version of the game. Well, I guess I've come to the end of the show. I really did enjoy this game a lot when I was a kid. To this day, I have found it really difficult to beat the game. Even though saying it's rather difficult, I do feel the story and action make the game playable and a good buy. If, of course, you aren't into difficult games and this will make you really angry and frustrated, then maybe this game isn't for you. If you are interested in getting this game for any of the systems it's been released for, you can get it at your local game shop or on eBay. For those of you with a Wii video game system, you can buy it at the online Wii Store in the Virtual Console section. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode and come back to see another game I couldn't keep my hands off of.
Boost activated. Boost activated. Target shot. Warping to bonus sector.